All right, I want to talk a little bit about what's gone on, the contrast between what's going on in Democrat cities and what's going on in Republican cities right now. I saw this from the New York Post, and we have two articles that are going to go together on this. One is from the New York Post that showed footage showing a flash mob of looters ransacking a 7-Eleven in Los Angeles. Let's play some of this video for people. It's a street takeover.
Turn it down a little bit.
Yeah. So what you're seeing here are robberies that happened during a street takeover. It says when drivers flooded and blocked a city intersection with their vehicles to create a pit in the middle of it. And then you also see they ransack the 7-Eleven. They go in, they actually wind up making off with handfuls of cigarettes, snacks, and other goods. Look at this. Just look at this. They just walk in. Look at the destruction. How disgraceful. This is Los Angeles, people. Can't imagine why people left Los Angeles to come to Florida. Look at this. So I have two comments on this, and you can play this a little bit more if you want, Tyler, while I'm talking. First of all, my initial reaction is, who raises these people? Who raises these people? You know how I always talk and I go back to what happens at the dinner table and what happens at the home? This is why. I guarantee you, if you did studies on the people who commit crimes like this, you're going to find problems at home. You're going to find absentee dads. You're going to find something going on in a large percentage of cases here. Because when you have accountability to parents, and by the way, accountability to faith in many respects. No one talks about the role of faith in this stuff. But when you have accountability to something bigger than yourself, you don't behave this way. There is a lot that goes into the way people are or aren't raised. Look at this. I mean, this is just disgusting.
Well, and that was Larry Elder's take on this, is that this is 2017. Recent estimates show that about 40% of births in the United States occur outside of marriage, meaning potentially there's not a father in the house.
That's right.
It's a single parent. And this is what you get.
It's a leading cause of destruction in community when you don't have, particularly a dad. You see so many fatherless homes. When you don't have that infrastructure in a home, when kids feel lost, confused, lonely, it bleeds out into their education. They get into trouble. You see it manifest like this. Now, what's also interesting about Los Angeles is, this is in the New York Post article, which I love that they highlighted. The incident comes as L.A. County District Attorney George Gascon and his office have come under fire, you don't say, for prosecutorial laxity that some blame for a spike in the city's crime. He has been criticized for announcing plans to soften the state's 3 strikes law, which mandates harsher penalties for repeat offenders. So what you have is what you have going on in New York City. You have these very, very liberal district attorneys, and they make it so that criminals get away with murder, sometimes actually. They get away with severe crimes. They get away with small crimes. They get away with repeat crimes, and they don't have proper accountability. So what's the lesson there to someone who seeks to inflict harm? Let's go to LA and do it. They're not going to behave like that in a place where they know that there are harsher penalties for their behavior. But these cities, these places, we're going to cover a couple more of them right now, are becoming enclaves for crime. And that is why you saw so many people leave Los Angeles and head to places, if they wanted a city, they were like, I'm going to Miami. If they were going anywhere else but there, because you cannot raise children in an environment like that. If you have a family, you also don't want to have your business. What if your business is a few blocks from that business? You know what I'm saying? It gets very scary and it gets very dangerous. If you're living in any area where criminals are getting a message that there are no consequences or very small consequences, if any, for their actions, forget it. It's over. Going along with that, I know Tyler's Googling something, but going along with that, in the Daily Mail, they talked about something called the death of downtown. San Francisco, Cleveland, and Portland were pulled in particular as seeing an activity drop by almost 50% as soaring crime in the Democrat-run cities forces workers, tourists, and homeowners away. People, it's like abandoned. You know, when you went to those abandoned towns, that's what it's turning into. Let's take a look at this. In a recent study by the Institute of Governmental Studies, this is at UC Berkeley, San Francisco's downtown area was found to be only 31% active over the spring of 2022 when compared to pre-pandemic levels. According to the latest FBI Unified Crime Report, San Francisco had the highest overall crime rate of the 20 largest cities in the United States, recording 6,917 crimes per 100,000 population. Can you imagine? Look at these. Look at this. Shooting up on the street. Disgusting. How are you going to walk past this stuff with your kid in a stroller? You're not. This looks like Occupy Wall Street, these images that used to be in downtown Manhattan, only it's like a perpetual state of being in San Francisco. Maybe it's Nancy Pelosi's district. San Francisco Mayor London Breed, by the way, demanded cities defund the police last year. Oh, that worked out well, London, announcing that the Golden Gate City would be one of the first to do so and promising to slice $120 million from the budgets of its police and sheriff's department. So let's just connect the dots on policy here. You've got these liberal woke DAs that send a message to criminals that there are not going to be consequences for their actions. You've got defund the police movements heavy in these areas where people know that there are less police on the streets. So if they commit a crime, they're more than likely to not be faced by someone else with a gun to stop them, because the only people that have guns in these places are the police. Don't get me started on gun control. The city of San Francisco, by the way, according to this article, fascinating, also greenlit its first open-air drug market. How nice. In San Francisco Civic Center, which spurred vagrants and homeless encampments across the city to use illegal substances out in broad daylight. How nice. So now you're walking around there with your family, or you have a business, and that's what's going on your front door. By the way, that is happening in New York City as well. I got a call a few days ago about that. A friend of mine was like, you cannot believe the amount of just drugs, hardcore drugs being done in broad daylight in Manhattan right now. I'm going to New York next week. I'm going to be there for 12 hours. It was the shortest amount of time I could manage to be there. Let's just say I don't miss the city. And I'm going to take a look around. I'm going to wander around a little bit and see what's going on. If I see anything, I'm going to report on it. I'm going to let you know. By the way, people in San Francisco, just so you know, if you're living there and you're like living on cloud nine and you're like, no, it's not so bad. Crime remains stubbornly high in the Golden Gate City, with overall crime up 7.4% as of August 14th. Assaults are up nearly 12%. Robberies are up 2.4%. Thefts have spiked by 17.5%. And rapes have increased by 9.5%. Well, if that's not an invitation to move San Francisco, I don't know what is, Tyler. If you like the short clip, you can catch another one here, or you can catch the full episode right here.